So Alix Earle has been receiving some backlash for hanging out with David Dobrik. During last year's Coachella, Alix was hanging out with David and some other Vlog Squad members, which she also got called out for. But her, David's crew, and some other influencers were all invited by guests to stay at their compound, so people weren't really putting the blame on Alix for hanging out with David. A big brand invited her there, so it's not like she would have said no. Plus, David was posting about Alix on his social media, but she barely posted about him. The most she posted about him was when someone commented on one of her Coachella TikToks asking if she was with the Vlog Squad, and Alix replied saying, somehow, yeah. Then she posted a TikTok after Coachella ended of her and the other guests at the compound, including David and the Vlog Squad, all lip-syncing and dancing to a song while on a private plane. And even for posting that, she got comments about David like, David and his group trying to cling onto relevance like, and trigger warning, David Dobrik, probably the worst people you can hang out with, David Dobrik jump scare, and David is praying Alix can make him relevant again. At this point, people were being more understanding of the situation. They knew that Alix was there because guests invited her, not because she wanted to hang out with David. Like, it wasn't her decision as to who was invited. So people weren't really blaming her for hanging out with David. She barely posted about David, and guests probably wanted Alix to post a TikTok of all of them wearing their guest sweatsuits to promote the brand, so that's what she did. But David, on the other hand, was posting a lot about Alix, and people felt that he was exploiting her since she was the new popular TikToker, and he wanted clout. Like, Alix Earle was his ticket back to relevancy. I think that at this point, David has an idea of where he stands in terms of the public opinion, so I doubt he thinks that one popular creator or influencer is going to get him back to where he used to be. I'm sure it was mostly just for clout for his Snapchat, since it's well known that he makes good money over there. But now, Alix and David seem to have hung out again, although this time, she's getting backlash for it, especially since she hung out with him willingly and was also hyping him up. Alix did an episode of her podcast, Hot Mess, with Jake Shane, and in the episode, they talked about how they hung out with David, and people are not happy about it. She never says David's name, but instead refers to him as Apple, but it's very obvious who she's talking about, especially since she mentions David's famous fruit punch fountain in his house, and even shares a clip of her in his house with the background blurred. But like, you can tell it's his house. In the episode, they pretty much just talk about how they went to David's house and had such a fun time. Alix and Jake were hanging out and both went to a bar, then a house party, but both were so boring, so David picked them up to go to his house. They also go on to talk about how fun David is and how hanging out with him is always such a fun time.
And then we went out with another friend that we both have in common here.
Let's call him Apple.
Okay. Apple picked us up and took us out, and we went to Apple's house, and it was like,
well, first we made a stop at another bar.
Yeah, we did.
And that one was short-lived.
Yeah, that wasn't that fun.
That one was short-lived.
That one was a miss.
Then we went to Apple's house.
Which was the craziest house I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah, that was insane.
I was like, wait, what?
No,
like,
it's like,
it
actually,
was,
like, if you're...
It was like an arcade in there.
No, it's like if you could wake up and be like, I want this. Like, you guys, Apple had a water fountain that dispensed fruit punch.
Yeah, no, it was pretty crazy. And then we pre-gamed there and then went to a house party, but that house party didn't work out. Or that was before we went to Apple's house.
No, we stopped at the house party before Apple's. And
the house party was like really cryptic.
We walked in and walked out. Then we went to Apple's.
Then we went to Apple's. Then we went, is this making any sense?
No, wait, okay.
Then we went to the club.
Dinner, bar, failed house party, Apple's.
Yeah.
Apple's, we were like, let's go to, like, I really wanted to go clubbing. Yeah, I was like, this is happening. Yeah. Like, Alix is in town. I want to go clubbing.
And it's always nights with Apple.
Bro. I said before, I was like, let's call Apple. And she was like, let's fucking call Apple.
She was like, randomly? I just called you.
I even got it.
He was like, randomly? Would you want to go out with Apple tonight? And I was like, Apple's like my Roman Empire.
No, yeah, and I was crying. I was like, me too. Like, my most fun nights in this life are with Apple. Like, you, me, and Apple together in a night. Like, I could not imagine something better.
It was perfect. And I think we had a really great night. And I don't think that we can go out tonight. I think we have to, we can't.
People knew that they were talking about David immediately. The fruit punch water fountain was such a dead giveaway. But people did find it weird that even though it was obvious they were talking about David, they refused to say his name for some reason. I've seen some mention that David must have had them sign an NDA, but I don't think he'd have people he's just hanging out with sign an NDA. Plus, she was even recording herself in his house. What's most likely true is that Alix knows that she'll get backlash if people know that she was hanging out with David, so she tried to be low-key about it, even though she wasn't being so low-key. Everyone knew that she was talking about David. But yeah, there are a lot of people who find it icky of Alix to be friends with David, especially publicly. There were comments like, they obviously know it's weird to hang out with him if they won't even say his name. Being friends with David Dobrik in 2024 is crazy, and if you can't publicly say who you're friends with, maybe just don't be friends with them. I do think that if they were going to make it that obvious that they hung out with David, then they probably should have just gone ahead and said his name. And if they didn't want people to know that they were hanging out with David, then they probably should have just not told the story. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this situation in the comments, and as always, I will talk to you in the next video.